Is your Instagram account destroying the environment? Let's find out, and also learn more about best practices for visiting the outdoors. The internet has created awareness to help solve important issues, but sometimes awareness can cause problems. Social media, namely Instagram, has brought too much awareness to certain natural areas and has led to overcrowding, environmental damage, and even death. As this unprecedented level of interest has taken root, we must reconsider how sharing our experiences outdoors can affect these areas. Social media-driven tourism is causing national parks to become so overcrowded that getting into them can be difficult or impossible. Traffic jams, full parking lots, and lines to get in have become the norm. There has been an increase in car accidents and even physical fights over parking spaces. Sometimes parks are so full, visitors must be turned away. Social media-driven crowds inundate trails and vistas. People have become part of the landscape. In one case, an hours-long bottleneck formed to climb a ladder that's part of a trail. For some, seeing famous nature areas may be worth it, no matter what the ambiance. For others, jostling shoulder to shoulder and waiting in lines may not be what they have in mind for their national park vacation. Unfortunately, not everyone who visits the outdoors is an environmentalist at heart. People have left vast amounts of trash in natural areas. Balloons, beer bottles, and maybe worst of all, human waste, including diapers, now litter our national parks. Trash removal has a negative environmental and fiscal impact. Furthermore, vandalism of Native American artifacts has occurred. The influx of visitors has made managing human waste more challenging. In one area, it must be removed by helicopter at an expense of $20,000 a year, and Yellowstone National Park uses on average 1,700 rolls of toilet paper every day. Strict guidelines on human waste in backcountry areas without plumbing have been disregarded, causing water pollution. Some unprepared visitors base their behavior in nature on misleading social media images. People have died from getting lost or falling. Falls often occur when people stand near cliff edges for photo opportunities. This led the National Park Service to create a selfie-taking guide in an attempt to prevent people from falling to their deaths. The increase in visitors has been correlated with an increase in search and rescue missions that are conducted at great expense and with risk to the searchers. The effects of social media-driven over-tourism aren't limited to national parks. Smaller areas have also become severely over-trafficked after going viral on social media. Some of these spots, once only locally known, have been inundated with trash and caught completely unprepared for the onslaught of visitors. After locations have gone viral, wildflowers have been trampled, illegal fires started, and surrounding areas overwhelmed with tourists that overstrain hotels and local supply chains. The influx of visitors at national parks have forced changes such as timed entry, reservation systems, visitor limits, or lotteries to get tickets. Reservation systems limit visitors and therefore revenue, necessitating raising the cost per visitor in order to maintain the amount of money needed for park upkeep and improvements. Some argue that this is too limiting for access to the park and say that conservation is being used as a means for exclusion. Natural areas should be appreciated, but some are being loved to death. Where do we draw the line? The US Senate has taken notice of social media-driven over-tourism. They have recognized the strain that overcrowded parks create on the towns and areas surrounding national parks, and discussed potential solutions such as apps that would notify visitors of overcrowding and potentially redirect them to alternative sites. Visiting a national park now may not be what people have in mind for going outdoors. Of course, these areas are unique and beautiful, but crowds, trash, waiting in line, and logistical issues have changed the experience. If you envision getting away from people and communing with nature, it may be better to explore alternatives. Here's an example of a sunset on a popular beach in comparison to a sunset on a little-known lake, with just one friend. It's not that one experience was better than the other, but they were very different. Unique and beautiful nature doesn't exist only in the most well-known and Instagrammable locations. It can be found everywhere. Visiting lesser-known local areas is one of the best ways to minimize your impact on the environment. Through using search engines to find areas nearby, You can find unfrequented places not plagued with the problems of overcrowded national parks. Blogs, local publications, and aerial imagery can also be resources for finding these areas. Once you start getting outside locally, you may discover that adventures lend themselves to more adventures. The area you're at may have tons of trails that could take many hikes to explore. On the way to an area, you may see a trailhead that's not marked on the maps. Or, on the trail, you might speak to a friendly hiker who recommends a new place to go. Wherever you go, make sure to use Leave No Trace principles. Leave No Trace principles are a guide to help people going outside from having negative impact on the environment. The rules are: 1. Plan ahead and prepare. This ensures you have a safe adventure and that you do not need to be rescued. 2. Dispose of waste properly. This might differ depending on your location and if you're camping or hiking, but generally it means that anything you bring with you should be thrown away in a garbage can or packed out with you, even an orange or banana peel. 3. Leave what you find. This ensures the next person to come along can enjoy the hike the same way you did. 4. Respect wildlife. This ensures your own safety as well as the continued well-being of wildlife. 5. Be considerate of others. Consider how your behavior on the trail will affect the experience of other people. 6. Minimize campfire impact. And 7. Camp on durable surfaces. These ensure that future visitors can enjoy an unmarred landscape. Traditional Leave No Trace principles have been followed for decades, but in the modern age of social media's impact, digital Leave No Trace guidelines must be considered as well. Some rules to follow. 1. Don't tag specific locations. Be general, maybe with just the name of the state. 2. Consider if your post could encourage someone to engage in unsafe behavior. And 3. Use your posts to inspire conservation, volunteerism, and green practices. Social media has had negative effects, but that doesn't mean it is inherently negative. Going to national parks shouldn't be controversial, but the impact of social media has unfortunately changed the implications. The wide range of negative effects risk the demise of our nation's natural wonders. Wherever you decide to go outside, make sure to consider your impact on and off the trail. Explore responsibly and have fun.